Alrighty, hello, welcome back everybody to Cold and Fluffy. Once again, as always, as late as humanly possible. Sunday night, just played RD2L, had a good time. Now let's look at last week's Fluffy Hat games. So, one second, Steam's just being irritating. Alright, there we go. Probably not going to be too long, because I'm kind of tired. But let's whip through them. So, 2 for 2 on the or 2 out of 4 for the predictions. Not bad really, given there's 3 possibilities. Everyone went 1-1 this week. So anyone who said would 1-1 was correct, and anyone that I said wouldn't 1-1 was wrong. We start off with Plat versus Lucas. I want to say I was originally thinking this could be I think I was leaning towards 1-1 at first. And then I decided that I thought Lucas's team's play style was just a bit of a, what do you call it, hard match for the Plat team. It seemed like from the Plat team's games, they maybe had issues doing stuff early. A lot of their games seemed to go really long, and I interpreted that as them not really having good mid games, not progressing the game well enough. Whereas Lucas's team is just like in your face all the time. Let's take a look. Let's decide whether I was right or wrong in that assumption. We're not going to go through all the hero. I've decided, at least this week, I'm going to try not just like reading through all the drafts. 'Cause I think it's a little bit silly. I kind of did that because the person I stole this idea from did it like that. And it was like, I don't know, it was something I was vaguely interested in, but I'm leaning away from it. So on one side we have quite a lot of meta shit here. We have a Bane and a Spirit Breaker and a very late OD pick, plus a Wraith King. The Axe, much less meta. Not really in a response to anything either. I don't think Axe is particularly good against any of the heroes it was picked into. I want to say this may be a little bit of a comfort pick, or potentially like a preemptive counter. If they were scared of certain heroes and they wanted to kind of stop them from being a problem. There's a lot of BKB piercing shit here. So not surprised to see the Dusa pick up a hero that just doesn't really care about BKB. Doesn't buy it in a lot of games. Looks like they were eventually going to buy it this game. So pretty reasonable pick. Then they pick the OD. Good hero, pretty good against Dusa. Not as good as he used to be, but still good. Also, potentially, I guess, forces Dusa to get a BKB or want to buy a BKB later. I don't know. I think Butterfly probably still feels better, but couldn't say the exact reason that we was eventually going for a BKB right before he lost. We see Alina pick up. Pretty solid hero overall. Can't really lose lane. Very powerful. Um, does have issues against Axe. 50-50 against SB. No one wants to play into Bane. I'm surprised by the build here. It wouldn't surprise me if some Linas are going magic damage, and it wouldn't, and I'd assume if they were going magic damage, they probably would go these items, because Kai and Sange is definitely like the premier magic dealer item right now, and Yules has always been a good Lina item, but personally I feel like the right-click Lina build is insane. I don't really see any reason not to buy it. It obviously does make you more susceptible to getting called by Axe, but like, I don't know. You're kind of very difficult to deal with. The BKB can kind of save you, maybe. I feel like I'd still go right click if I was Plat, but not saying that's the reason I lost the game or anything, just an observation, bit of confusion from myself. Looks like Sports had a very good game here. It's like, I don't know, the game was, I guess, just kind of rolling for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then, whoop, they kill all of them. Sand King twice. Just walk up the high ground, kill them all again, this time Dusa twice. One of those is a Dusa Aegis, which is interesting, which means that Dyer got a Roche at some point. So there must be a little bit of back and forth, but I don't know. At the same time, Radiant has all their T2s up. The kill score, actually pretty even, but on the Radiant side, I mean, 6-0, Wraith King, 11 and 3. OD, looks like those cores were not really touched. I don't know, draft-wise, I did like this Dusa pick, but it does feel kind of bad into the OD. Wraith King's always a good hero. I feel like it's really difficult to deal with Wraith King right now. You kind of have to kite him. They're kind of okay at kiting on this team, but maybe not as good as they need to be. These supports, like, I don't know, these are just really nasty heroes. This is like, I feel like 4 to 5 of these heroes are just like some of the nastiest meta heroes available right now. And so, even if maybe in a non-patch specific scenario, we could say more positive things about the Dire lineup, it's kind of hard to argue against just pick all the OP meta heroes, and that seems to be what Lucas has done here. Very unlike Lucas, actually, just pick all the OP meta heroes, but that's what he did this game. I just realized, was Healy's in this game? Oh, he was. He was SP. For some reason, I didn't notice him. Game 2. So this is the game that Plat team won. Oh, and I should mention, by the way, since I was initially talking about the playstyle difference, this is the kind of shit I guess I was expecting. A relatively fast end. Um, looks like I'd assume that they were mostly playing on Plat's side of the map with how few towers Plat's team was able to take from Lucas. This is, I guess, kind of what I was expecting when I was saying I think Lucas's team's playstyle is maybe just going to be a hard matchup for Plat. This game, though, of course, went Plat's direction, and so, of course, it's over 50 minutes long. So that seems to be the only way they win games. They have 3 fucking refreshers. Alright, this looks a little wild. Let's break it down. We have a lion pick, and Yolk doesn't... No, Yolk... For a second, I thought Yolk wasn't the one playing it. I was very shocked, but I realized I'm just dumb. These washed out profile pictures are kind of hard to see for me in the dark. But anyway, they pick Yolk's Lion. Once again, Lucas picking very meta heroes here. Bane, probably the best 5 right now. I'd argue Weaver's the best 4 as well, if we kind of exclude the Spirit Breaker, which I think is more of a 3-4 flex. We then get a tied response, which is interesting. It's obviously not a grippable hero, which I assume is a large portion of the reason they picked it. It could have also been intended for a flex if they consider running it 5. I don't know if they do or not. But anyway, seems like a solid-ish pick. It definitely doesn't like the Weaver bugs. One of those heroes that has a very, very hard time getting them off of him. Also, not a particularly high armor hero either, but at least if it's a support Weaver, the Ravage AoE is so huge, it's pretty hard for Weaver to come in and save anyone that's been 100 to 0'd in Ravage, because Weaver should also be stunned. Anyway, probably looking into that one too much. It's a solid pick against Bane. We then see a very early Luna pickup. Probably understandable. I mean, they see this. They see the offlaner. Probably, assuming that they aren't going to flex it to 5. They see the offlaner. They like the Luna hero. I think they've been picking it repeatedly. I'm a little surprised. I don't know. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for something flexy or just pick the Jackman hero anyway. Because you do have the potential to get your safe lane countered very hard when you pick it this early, but I don't know. It seems somewhat reasonable. We then, of course, see a big counter here with Shadow Demon. Very classic Luna counter. We also see the Razor. I don't actually know if this hero is getting his Luna or not. I don't think any hero likes getting their damage drained. No carry hero likes getting their damage drained. Luna is not a hero that can get away from that drain pretty much at all. Some heroes like AM can obviously kind of play around that PA as well to a lesser degree. Luna just kind of has to take it, but she also has a lot of damage and a lot of magic damage. Not really sure how that matchup goes. I assume it's okay. The Shadow Demon is obviously very nice. It also kind of counters the Bane as well. I think Shadow Demon has actually been quite a good hero this patch. Maybe a little underrated, especially in lower MMRs like ourselves. I think it's overall good. I think it's a nice little Bane counter, and it owns the Luna, so I like that particular pick a lot. We then see a Centaur pick, which is interesting against a Razor. I think later in the game it makes a lot of sense because you can kind of just ult out of the Razor ulti slash link. It gives Luna a way to get out of that link potentially as well. I would have thought that lane would have been less than ideal for Centaur, but he has 8-minute Vanguard. I mean, that's not awful. It's pretty reasonable. Dota buff thinks he drew lane, so it can't have been that bad. I don't know. That's an interesting pick. And there's not a lot of offlaners that like to lane into Razor. The Mars is kind of one option because you can push the Razor away, but it's banned. There's ranged heroes, but they're kind of whack. I think like the only really popular ranged offlaner right now is OD, who is also banned. So I guess on the basis he clearly knew how to lane it to some level of success, I will say I think that's a pretty decent pick. He still looks kind of fucking poor though, but maybe that wasn't so lane. Maybe that wasn't. Pardon me, hiccup. Maybe that wasn't so much of a lane thing though. I don't know if these timings are good or not. I've definitely seen faster timings. Like I've seen Hood and Vanguard before 10 and a Blink soon after. I'm pretty sure because he kept brown boots. I don't know. 50-50 on that one. Then we see Invoker for the combo, I guess, with the Ravage. I think it's also one of the heroes Plat actually plays, which is probably a pretty big deal for this team because I don't think Plat has the largest hero pool. At least I've never seen him on like spirits and shit. And then we see a Magnus pickup, which is really fucking weird to me. I don't get this pick at all. Like what does it do? It doesn't work on Tide. Tide just like immediately breaks out and then potentially ravages. It's probably good in lane versus Invoker, right? Like you just have a shit ton of damage. You probably own that lane. Then what's the point? Like you don't have any combo really. Like there's no melee hero that you can give your cleave for the big RP into Annihilation. There's not even much AoE damage in general. I mean, Luna, I guess. Bouncing glaives if you bring them up to the Luna. Seems kind of a weird one to me. The mag pick is very surprising. I think there's like Invoker's not a particularly strong hero, definitely not a particularly strong laner. Would have felt like there was a lot of heroes that could have abused that didn't involve playing mag. Oh wow, and Lucas doesn't even appear to have a particularly good game. Kind of a strange set of items as well. He goes for a relatively early Octarine core, but then immediately picks up an Arcane Blink. The cooldown reduction doesn't really stack. By doesn't really stack, I mean it doesn't stack at all. I don't know, there's very little reason to have both of these items right now. The main thing with Octarine core is that Octarine does also work on items, whereas Arcane Blink only works on abilities. And obviously Arcane Blink obviously has, shorter uptime. It's not a full-blown passive. You have to be able to get the blink off. There's downsides to relying on Arcane Blink, but this seems really odd to have both bought in such quick succession. Looks like Lucas is maybe memeing a little bit here. They have pretty nice team fight with the Ravage Invoker combo. Very powerful supports. Line's just overall pretty scary. This Shavdium pick here was pretty good. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Dire, I think, clearly is a better lineup here. I feel like I almost too often like the lineup that wins. Which I don't. Maybe that makes sense, but I don't know if it actually makes sense given that everyone in this league is shit. I feel like I feel like there should be more cases where I look at the lineup that lost and be like, that should have won. But I feel like at least so far this season, that has not been the case for most games. It's only been like a few exceptions. But I don't know, this mag pick's fucking weird. I don't really get the point. The supports are very scary. The Centaur doesn't seem to have had a great game. I don't think this is a great hero right now. It does feel very bad to go like utility Centaur. Like he's got a Lotus Orb. He's working on an Ags, which would have been his first item over 4K. I think Centaur's a hero you really want to snowball on. You want to go ham. You want to get an early heart. You want to feel unkillable. I just don't really like these two picks. And these are kind of like the big picks that are meant to counter the dire draft. Like the centaur definitely has some use with the escape from the razor, but the more I think about the centaur, the more I see how poor he is. I don't think I like it that much. I don't know. I do feel fairly justified in saying that Luke's playstyle is going to counter Plat's a bit, though, because Plat took fucking forever to win this game. He lost game one very quickly. Not very quickly, but like a standard game. This is 37 minutes. This is pretty standard pace. 54 is a long game, almost 55. So yeah, I don't know. I think if Lucas didn't like fucking pick this shit, maybe it would have just been a 2-0. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here that is just hidden because it didn't work out. I'm pretty sure Lucas just wanted to fuck around and RP people. Because, I mean, like, who doesn't, you know? Wild. Okay, well, moving on. Yumi versus Adam. Do I even want to look at this game? Did they pick normal shit? No. They picked a fucking mid disruptor. I guess they picked a PA. That's vaguely normal. Adam won a game. Wasp playing off lane. Looks like since they've replaced their off laner, they're just like rolling with that person now being the replacement, just playing their main role, which is P1. And Wasp is just gonna play off lane. He's kind of owning on. He rushed a fucking Wind Waker because he's a baboon. Game 2, I saw game 2. It's awful. It was over 70 minutes. The entire thing was a joke. There's like 700 Wind Wakers. They drafted garbage again. I don't know, man. At this point, I'm under the impression that that Scrub is gonna be here for like the full season, and I should probably start paying attention to these games. But I don't care. They're too weird. I'm gonna keep ignoring them and just keep on running under the assumption that TK eventually shows up, even though that's looking unlikely. Greg versus Yop. This was by far the most surprising game. I think the 2-0 for Yop is the most confident prediction I've had all season. Greg had won literally 0 games. Yop had only lost a single game. And yet they managed to lose. So let's look at this. Oh, you know what? Fucking Choco told me what happened here. They randomed their heroes, not in the draft. I think they drafted normally. But after they drafted a team, they like waited and said, instead of choosing heroes, we'll just random them and see what like the game gives us. And so they did that. So they ended up with a Lion mid. They had Eno on safe lane Pudge. Safe lane Pudge is like, it's not good, but it's surprisingly competent. Except Eno's playing it, so it's not going to be good. I have a support silencer that's rushed to Midas. The offlane Slark, I mean, probably could have done fine. It's still basically P1 in this game. Seems like I actually had an okay game. And then support Legion, which isn't even the weirdest thing. But on the other side, we have the classic GSP Night Stalker. Looks like he had a great game here. No blink either, which is wild. But I mean, I guess, do you need a blink against this team? Arguably not. I feel like you still do, but he got away with it, I guess. Phantom on the Luna. 826 GPM. Greg OD did not look to have a great game here. 6 and 13. Not very impressive. Actually, the second most deaths on his team. Decent Meteor Hammer timing, but it just fell apart a little after that. And they did still lose a Rax, actually. It's still a 39-minute game. They lost to Rax. But they did manage to win with all the craziness going on Yop's team. I don't know. That's kind of a wild one. I don't feel bad for getting this prediction wrong, honestly. Like, how do you foresee whatever the fuck they did here? And it looks like they almost like did something here too. They almost won despite of this. In spite of this. All right, what's game 2? I believe game 2 is more normal. That being said, Game 2 was, I think, also pretty close. Yeah, Greg's team managed to take a Rex. Greg went absolutely ham this game. They picked him a Quap into what, I mean, every game's a good Quap game right now. GSP Night Stalker once again, but didn't pop off that hard this time. Oh, we did the Vanguard thing. I've seen him go Vanguard on Night Stalker before. I think it's very, very bad. Actually, like, last game the build was almost reasonable, but I don't know. This build, this game, I think this kind of reinforces what I already thought about GSP Night Stalker. It's a hero he plays a lot. It's a hero he's very good at, but he very often just like freestyles it with the builds, and it ends up looking really bad. I think GSP would have a lot more success on this hero if he just played it cookie cutter instead of doing random bullshit like this. Orchids are pretty hip right now for offlaners, but like the Vanguard, I don't know. Is this are people actually doing this? That might be the worst part actually. A lot of offlaners are going Vanguard Orchid, but it's a 19-minute Orchid. That can't be good. I think if he just kept it normal and just went like, I don't know, the stat item, the Echo, or the Armlet into like a Blink and a BKB, shit would be more useful. Phantom, maybe not having a great game here. Better than a lot of the games this season where he's ended up with like a negative KD. But the Battle Fury, no Battle Fury. Well, maybe that one too. The Battle Fury to Deso, the Deso to the BKB to Satanic. There's a lot of time between those. His GPM isn't terrible though. You know, he's hitting creeps. What the fuck is this name? Alright, we're ignoring that. Fuck Choco? The hell is this? What does it mean? I don't want to know actually. God, Yop died a lot. But I guess he is Avenge. I don't know. I tuned into this game actually, and I was kind of surprised. So I saw that Greg was going ham. By the time I tuned in, Phantom had items. Even it looks like his early game may have been iffy. But then they lost. I don't know. There was a very large Clinks that they didn't seem to know how to deal with. There's obviously two massive BKB piercing AoE stuns. There's whatever the hell Yop was doing. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this game, and this, even though this isn't the one they won, this game, the Phantom Greg team actually kind of looked reasonable. Like, I think this is the best they've looked all season, probably, is this game, even though this isn't the one they won. Because, like, Yop actually seems to have an actual lineup here. Like, they actually drafted real heroes. The Faceless Void pick is very good, I think. The Clinks is a bit of a Choco classic, and it looks decently playable here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna move them up a tier or anything, but they at least seem to be showing some signs of life, and that's good. Lastly, I guess we have my own series, which I correctly predicted because I manipulated it to go this way. I guess this was a pretty close game. I felt decently close in game as well, I guess. We never took a Rax or anything though. Although we did at least get all their outer towers. The gold graph is at least a little back and forth. We had a little bit of a lead at one point. Should we go over the draft? I haven't actually been touching too much on the drafts outside the first game. Probably not. I don't think there's anything interesting here. Other than the fact that, like, Smacktrix and Reedy have the same KD. That's kind of cool. And also the fact that Reedy got, like, first blood on Smack. That probably shouldn't happen. The Gyro pick was, like, okay, I think. It's kind of like the Luna thing from the other game I was talking about. I'm not really sure if it's, like, actively good against Racer because you can't escape. But at the same time, you do have a ton of magic damage. and so you can kind of maybe just man up on him. I don't know. I'm still not sure what to think about Razor into like Luna Gyro. I want to say it's 50-50, but I'm not sure. I think the main thing that happened this game is we just kind of began losing some fights, or more importantly, began losing the Razor. My Razor only has 4 deaths, and unfortunately, they all kind of happen later in the game when deaths mean a lot. So, like, my man's on track, he's buying items, he gets an AC. Like, this is a 48-minute game. And the AC is kind of the last item he got. And then from that point, the Gyro upgrades his Chrysalis into Daedalus, buys a full Satanic, buys a full IS Scotty, and eventually we just couldn't really deal with the Gyro anymore. And I think that's the point at which we lost. Because the Gyro was actually kind of dying early, and Evan was kind of owning early. But I think we just kind of took some bad fights. I probably made some bad calls. I think Pyro maybe like messed up a BKB one fight or something, and just very swiftly shot into Smack's favor there. But I don't know, this is a pretty good game. I feel like it was pretty close. It was fun to play, I think, from what I remember. Yeah, it's been a while because I always wait forever to do these. This game was hilarious. I don't these like randomly. I never intentionally set these, but I like every now and then I accidentally do it. So now this is honestly this was a 5-star game though. The main thing I want to say with this draft, right? We picked this Ember super early. You know, they picked some very strong supports for this patch. They pick a little Ogre as well, because that's the Bibleman classic. We pick a Bristleback, because, you know, we're just feeling it. Bristle, cool hero, fun hero. I figured that Smack wouldn't play Viper. He's too honorable for that. They then pick Viper anyway and give it to Stonks, because Stonks doesn't give a shit. Stonks has no honor. He's in it to win it. We then pick a PL, because it's like, oh fuck, what do we do now? Our Bristle's boned. Like, alright, we'll pick a PL. They have literally nothing to deal with it. And then they pick a Huskar. Huskar obviously does not deal with PL at all, but this lineup is very scary because Viper, Huskar, Ogre put a lot of threat on us early. I don't think we really should have won any lane, and there was definitely very high potential for them to just run it down mid and never give us a chance. But what I think is really funny here, so if we look at Ember and we look at his counters, we'll see that Huskar is fucking horrific. Because Huskar just sits mid and throws spears at you and there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't know what happened, but Reedy just like killed Smack like 4 times. Mostly one-on-one. And so, even though I think Smack should have won with this draft, I think he should have run us over before our PL got any items. We actually kind of pulled this off. I mean, we did pull it off. We won. Because they just weren't really able to do enough to end. Like, they got a bit of an advantage. I think they did a couple Roches. Maybe the first 2, maybe 3 Roches they got. They got an 8k lead, but eventually, like, I don't know. Our PL got items. Got the Scotty, or not, sorry, got the Heart, and then eventually got the Scotty, which obviously owns all these range heroes. And I don't know, they couldn't kill him. It's like I said earlier about the draft. They really have no illusion clear whatsoever. Huskar doesn't add illusion clear. The Huskar threat is just to end before PL comes online, which they failed to do. I don't know, it got a little scary. They took 1 T3, did some damage to the racks, but they weren't quite able to pull it off. Mr. Tricks, unfortunately, not much of a Huskar player. Died a few too many, well, died in lane at all against an Ember, which wasn't great. I think died a couple times in the mid game just purely to weird armlet toggles. I don't know. This game was bizarre. I think overall Smack's team probably looked better than us this series, just because of how much of a throw the second game was from them. But hey, whatever. I'll take it. Not complaining. And yeah, and I got the prediction right, which is even more important. So that was this week. Am I going to change anything on this? This was a 1-1, so no. Plat, Lucas 1-1. maybe I could, it's very tempting to move Plat up at this point. He's been consistently sitting here with the same amount of wins as these other teams that I have in this tier. I either move him up now or I wait a week and see what happens. I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And, oh, what the fuck? I opened Cortana. What the hell? Well, we'll move Plat up. Greg, I'm not going to move up for the one game, but I think if they perform well next week, like they definitely showed signs of life this week, and if they perform well next week, they could definitely, I think, potentially move up. Yumi Adam, fucking shitters, they can stay there. Yop, I don't know. Yop mostly just lost to the meme of randoming. I don't exactly know what happened early game one that caused them to get wrecked by Greg, but it's probably not good enough reason to move them down or anything. So I think this will be the tier list for now. A very heavy second tier there. May have to look to moving some people out of there next week if I can find a good reason to. Um, but yeah, let's do some predictions. Plat versus Claire. Honestly, dude, easy 2-0 for me. Well, there's some good players on this team, Plat's kind of goated. Yolk, Onish line player. Everyone loves Lava. But the fucking Wee Lickum guy. That dude sucks dick. Sucks ass. And me and H are going to personally put him like 7 feet underground next week. So Plat team doesn't stand a chance. Yumi versus Yop, I don't even fucking care. I think if Yop keeps it serious, it's probably a 2-0. And I'm going to have to predict off of that, or an 0-2 even. I think there's a very high chance that in at least one of these games, they decide to hee-hoo it, and the Choco's like, let me hee-hoo with Scrub in the mid lane. There's also a chance that Choco just says, like, fuck Scrub, I want to destroy him, but I don't know. So there's 2 out of 3 scenarios. If they just take it like a normal game, I think they 2-0. If Choco goes, I want to mode destroy Scrub, I think they 2-0. And then if Choco says, hee-hoo, I want to fuck around with Scrub in the mid lane, I think they lose the first game, and then realize they don't like losing and win the second game. So 2 out of 3 chances of a 2-0. Greg Lucas, man, it's really hard to predict. I've been consistently failing my predictions on the Greg team because I thought they were very good at the beginning of the season. And I thought they would win, and then they didn't win. I actually got this one correct. Okay, maybe I'm not a total idiot. I thought they would take a game off of Plat, and they didn't. I feel like predicting Greg team to win when they've only won one game all season is not a good idea. But they did. They showed a lot of promise last week, and so maybe they can do it again. Maybe they can pull it off. Maybe they finally found their stride. All right, just to keep it in line, with the other 2 predictions, we'll do this again. We'll make them all look the same. All right. I think this one. I don't know. Maybe this is 1-1, but this one's definitely no to you. Smack. God Gamer, Stonks, God Gamer, Bibleman, God Gamer, JB, kind of drunk, but also not bad. Milo, I haven't actually. I guess Milo was there last week. Milo's also there. I'm sure he's great as well. I don't really know Milo as well as the other 4, so although I did get him on our R2L team, which I think was good. But anyway, we're going all of them 0-2, just so they match. Not really. I mean, this probably is what I think. Smack Adam for sure. I don't know. Adam's team's kind of clowning around. Maybe they can win a game with raw skill, but I think they'll just kind of get smacked around. Pun not initially intended. Greg Lucas could be a 1-1. Yumi Yop could be a 1-1, but only on the basis that Yop fucks around. Platinum, no shot. I will personally kill Wee Lickum and send his thumb to his parents in a small box via UPS. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Hope to see you next week. Yeah, good luck tomorrow. Or actually, honestly, by the time this uploads, good luck today, everyone. Good luck this evening. All right, see you around.